One of the things I hear most from people is that when they're interested in psychic phenomenon, or they're interested in developing their psychic gifts, or they're interested going down a path that's different from what people call traditional spirituality, which, by the way, really isn't. The religions, a lot of the religion in the world isn't necessarily traditional right now, but when they do embrace these phenomena, when they do embrace developing their psychic gifts, the people in their lives call them crazy. When I started doing this for a living a long time ago, I realized that it's pretty hard because there's a lot of social pressure that tries to convince people that what we're doing, even exploring the subject, much less admitting openly that you're psychic or that you have psychic ability, well, it causes a lot of eyebrow raises, to say the least. And there's a lot of people who will actually say that you're crazy, or that you're nuts, or that you're deluded. And in some cases, I think that is the case. There are some people out there, I think, that take it too far, that maybe they aren't really necessarily in touch with their psychic ability or their intuitive ability, that maybe something else is going on. I acknowledge that. However, there are some people that are. One of the most challenging things is when you're a child to have this ability, or to be able to see things or hear things or know that something else is going on, and have the adults around you tell you, no, it's just your imagination. It actually puts you at war with yourself, and you find yourself doubting yourself, so that when you get older, if you do want to admit that you actually have a talent for this or a gift for this, you have to face a whole lot, not only from the world outside of you, but from what they tried to set up early on to convince you that this was unnatural or weird or sinful or crazy or whatever they want to call it. But I'll tell you something. Early on, I started to look at those people who said, this is crazy. And I started to ask myself, what's really going on in their life? What do they really believe in? What do they value? And when I asked those questions, I started to ask myself, wait a minute, who's really crazy and what's really crazy? I think the problem comes when people make too much out of it. Psychic ability, intuition, it's just a natural faculty. It's just an extension of our senses. When we make too much more out of it, like it's something that's so foreign to us, it's something that's so supernatural, it's something that's so out there, that's when it gets weird, and that's when people start to get all crazy about their criticisms of it. Consider it another sense. Consider it something that some people just do naturally, or that some others can work on and develop. When we make it such a big deal, that's when all of the opinions and the craziness really starts to happen. I like to think of intuition as something that's as natural as the elements. Start to really look at what people value, and those people who call other people crazy for believing that something that really is natural and really is something that we actually can tune into and we actually can see results in. Well, when you see what they value and you see what they call sanity, it's kind of hard to take them seriously. There are some psychiatrists out there who actually are trying to make it psychological problem diagnosis if an individual believes that they could see the future or talk to spirits. And yet, some of these same psychiatrists are loaded up with the same medication that they are prescribing for their patients because they really don't know how to help a person heal. Instead, they choose to drug them. So, what's crazy? There are thousands of doctors out there who actually don't know what's wrong with a patient. And so instead of actually finding out what the cause of a disease is, they'll chop the person up, they'll drug them into incoherency, or they'll actually put them in a course of treatment that makes them worse. And they call that healing. What's crazy? There are people who criticize others, who claim that they're psychic, who claim that they're mediums, who claim that there is such a thing as magic, and yet they spend the majority of their free time, if not the time that they're also at work, completely either drugged out of their mind or drunk just so they can function. What's crazy? There are those of you out there who actually have parents and family members who criticize you for what you're doing in terms of trying to explore your psychic gifts or your intuitive nature. And yet, those same parents who are criticizing you or their children for being crazy are in relationships that aren't working, they're in jobs that they're not satisfied doing, and they have nothing but regrets in their life for not following the path that they should have followed. So, in that case, again, what's crazy? There are actually people out there who go and work a job all day long that they can't stand. They sit in a queue, isolated from other people. They do things that don't really produce anything of real value in the world. Then they go home at night and they watch TV. They drink to get through whatever feelings they have. They argue with people online. They do nothing to enrich themselves, to grow or to learn or to ever ask a single question. This to them is sanity. There are people out there who actually follow religions where they speak to a God that never answers them. They never have their prayers answered. They live in a state of misery. They're sick, their relationships are failing, they're working at jobs and doing things that are completely against their true natures and who they are. And they go and cling to these religions again and again and again and try to convince others that they're supposed to be part of it too. And that is considered sanity? When someone claims that a psychic is a fraud, watch them very closely, because usually when they make that decree immediately, you can bet that they are projecting their own lack of honesty and integrity on you. A while back I was doing a marketing program, and in the marketing group I asked a bunch of people what they actually thought psychic meant. And a whole bunch of them, who I noticed were really unscrupulous in their business, immediately said, these people are frauds. The religions and religious groups who actually abuse people, harm children, and destroy people's lives jump on us and say, you're a fraud. Doctors, psychiatrists, and other quote-unquote healers who take thousands and thousands of dollars from people and leave them bankrupt and worse than when they first came to them actually have the audacity to say that people who actually tune into someone, see the course and patterns of their life and see where they're headed, they have the audacity to say those people are frauds. When someone says, hey, you're a fraud, make no mistake, those people are talking about themselves and they are telling you exactly who they are inside. Another thing that happens, and I think that when you start to develop this stuff or go down this road or start to explore your psychic gifts or your intuition, sometimes we find that family, friends, and even people who are like right in our household start to criticize us or make fun of us or put us down for wanting to do this. It's your choice. You can let them pressure you, but here's the thing. If you never ask the questions, if you never explore, if you never see if it's possible, how will you know? Whenever someone has an opinion or criticizes me about my life or what I'm doing, I have this sort of litmus test I use. I ask myself first, is that person happy? Are they successful? Are they healthy? Do their relationships actually work? Are they living the kind of life that I wish I were living or that I want to be living? Do they understand my goals? Do they actually understand who I am and what is really going on inside of me? Or are they expecting me to somehow live out their fantasies of what they wish their life was that they aren't even doing? There's another thing to consider too. just because someone criticizes you because you're not doing what they're doing, you have to ask yourself, is what they're doing and what they believe in compatible with your heart? I'm Lucky Lynx, as always, wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do. If you would like to schedule a reading with me, 77930280009, or you can email me at conjurehope@gmail.com. And if you would like to learn how to read the tarot, I have a beginning class, I have an advanced class, I have a class on how to read playing cards, 2 classes in Lenormand, a basic one, and 1 in the Grand Tableau. I also have 1 in Mexican Loteria and in crystal ball reading. If you'd like to take any of those classes, contact me same way, 77930280009 or conjurehope@gmail.com. And for those of you who would like some kill core work done, that is where I build a map of your life, and we look into it, and I'm actually able to, using specific Tibetan bond processes, help you to be able to change things happening in your life, remove obstacles, set things into motion. There's all sorts of things we could do that way too, and if you're interested in something like that, contact me same way. Hey, for those of you who have donated, I really appreciate it. I thank you for your donations, and if you like these videos and they are giving you something and you'd like to donate to help keep them coming, then I'm putting my PayPal and my Venmo in the thing below. You guys have a fantastic weekend.